Alright, how's it going? I recently watched Lolita, directed by Stanley Kubrick. This movie came out in 1962. It's alright. Its subject matter is very risque. This middle-aged man, I guess, played by James Mason. His name is Humbert, which is just I don't know. I think it's just meant to be funny. I guess he's attracted to or even obsessed with this. I think in the movie she's 14 years old, but Lolita. I think her name is Dolores, but her nickname is Lo or Lolita. So in many ways it's creepy. It just seems completely inappropriate. But I guess it's interesting. You could say it's about obsession or it's about anything that there's a taboo surrounding, and it's a kind of a black comedy. He marries this lady who's the mother of Lolita. If you haven't seen it, I don't know, if you like movies it's pretty long, but a drama, offbeat, kind of little bit of humor. I don't think it's completely successful, but interesting and a bit creepy, exploring some yeah, dodgy. That's the thing. I feel like Stanley Kubrick's kind of messing around with the audience, just trying to push the boundaries. It's amazing some of what it gets away with. It might be interesting because I think different people would find different parts more creepy than others, but just how far it goes and what some of it implies. So one thing I really, really feel bad, I'm spoiling it now, for the mother, because she's so, I don't know what it is. She just seems like a good, decent woman who's kind of feminine. She had a husband who passed away and seems almost desperate for a new man in her life, but she likes James Mason, Humbert. Like, she's just so earnest. She just really, flirts with him, but seems to really like him, and she's so oblivious to the fact, or at least generally oblivious to him being obsessed with Lolita, at least at first, because she's so just enamored with him. And just, it's the kind of thing where on the one hand, some people, you can look at what others do and assume the worst, or you can assume the best, and there are some people, it often reflects more on you. If you assume the best, it suggests that you're a good person, that you're good-hearted, and that, because I think you project things onto other people that you're thinking. You assume that they're thinking something similar. And she seems very pure, so she assumes pure intentions for him. But that's the thing. It just seems terrible because I don't think he ever really loves her. There's times, it's kind of funny as well, some of it, where she'll say, she'll kind of flirt and imply like, oh, we'll sleep together later or something. And he's like, oh, my toothache. And you can tell everything he does revolves around, can he be near Lolita? And I guess one thing that's interesting, a great movie can pretend to be about one thing, but be about other things. And you could say, okay, him being obsessed with this 14-year-old girl is kind of creepy, but most people will relate to something where they want something and they have to then awkwardly try to avoid other things and they don't want to completely admit it. You know what I mean? There's probably something that, or something that you like, but you don't want to completely acknowledge it. Something like that. So I think most people can relate to some of his discomfort in trying to, but overall, he's very pathetic. Like, his character's kind of immature, but also, yeah, just very weaselly, very selfish, because he's just any excuse to be with Lolita, who seems actually more mature than him in many ways, although she's also immature. I think I remember someone saying, like, if you're ever worried about being attracted to like someone in the high school, just, someone young, just talk to them and then that'll just kill everything. And just because there are times when she talks and she is kind of immature in certain ways that would be off-putting, you would think, to any adult, that you would think this person's an idiot. But anyway, I felt there was a bit of tension with, like, her mother. Lolita's mother seemed like decent. She would enforce her to clean her teeth, go to bed, and I don't know if they used to clean their teeth back then, but various things. Whereas the Humbert is a bit more loose, although he's kind of controlling of Lolita. As long as he can have Lolita near him, he wants her to be free and have fun, but not to spend time with other people, especially men or boys her age. No one else that she might be interested in romantically. So Peter Sellers is in it, and I find him very funny overall. In this, his parts of it are funny. He does kind of funny voices at the start of the movie when he's drunk and they play table tennis. It's kind of funny. He mentions Spartacus, that his name is Spartacus. I think it's a reference. Stanley Kubrick's last movie before this was in 1960, Spartacus. I think it was really good. I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, Peter Sellers. There's other parts. It doesn't. I think the plot overall I don't really like that much. It's kind of silly. A lot of it's convenient. When the mother ends up dying because she gets hit by a car, that was completely out of left field and just weird. And I don't know. I guess something like that keeps the story going, keeps the plot moving, but just seems very dodgy. It's interesting though, because just after that there's like this cha-cha-cha kind of music in the background, just showing, I think the music kind of reflects Humbert's state. He's kind of just so relieved because it really cleans things up, like makes things so much easier for him. Because she'd found out and she was like, got to tell people. I forget, but it was getting ugly between them at the end. There were some moments of humor, like when in the hotel room, the guy brings the bed and insists on helping him set it up, and he's like, no, 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 and then finally, so that Lolita's sleeping in the bed, and then they're trying to set up this bed, and they keep going back and forth, and it's funny, and eventually they set it up. And then after all of that, he goes to sleep on it and then just collapses. But it's also creepy, yeah. He tries to go into the bed with her, share it with her. And I think she kind of wakes up. And it's like, again, she's kind of the dominant one. She's in the bed. And she's, he has to be relegated to this little dodgy mattress thing. So it's interesting that Claire Quilty, played by Peter Sellers, kind of betrays him. Pretends to be Lolita's uncle, and takes her away from the hospital. I forget how she got in the hospital. I can't figure it out. That then she goes off and gets married, and I guess it implies that some years pass, and then he eventually tracks her down somehow. I think, yeah, she writes a letter to him asking for money, and then he goes and talks and meets the guy who's now dating her, who seems really nice, really cool by that. And then he's like, come with me, and it's that was interesting, because then he breaks down and cries, and you feel, I don't know what the movie's trying to say, but it's like, yeah, he really feels love to her. Like he's obsessed, but it's just this romantic love. And it does interest me, because I think there's such a thing to some degree as love at first sight, or at least these kind of connections. There have been some people, like I'll often joke around a lot, and some people just instantly will start laughing and they'll start joking as well, even if I've never met them before. They're my favourite people, generally speaking. But there'll be other people that will be like, huh? And then like some of them will warm up and they'll be like, okay, we kind of get it. Yeah, Chris, he's all right. He jokes, but he doesn't. He's not a bad person. And then there's other people that just the whole time they'll be just like, huh? What? I hate those people. They just seem miserable to me overall. I don't get it. Why don't you ever? Again, joke at the right time appropriately, but like to never joke, to never be like, I feel like you should always be ready for sarcasm. There should always be, someone might be joking, they might be thinking a little bit about something, they might mean something, not just what they're literally saying, But anyway, and the same with like attraction, if you just attracted to someone, and I find that can happen like instantly, very quickly. Even seeing someone from a distance, I could just sense something, and it could be wrong sometimes, but these very quick connections. And the thing is, sometimes you can have that connection with someone who's much younger or much older than you. And hopefully you meet someone that you're attracted to, like if you're straight, someone of the opposite sex, but you might be gay, you might be in one of the other genders, But anyway, hopefully meet someone your age, and then you can connect with them, maybe be in a relationship. But that's the thing, I've had things where I felt like I connected with someone, and they were younger, or like, yeah, in fact, yeah, so when I was in primary school, when I was in year 6, I had a friend, one of my best friends, that's back when you call people your best friend. Anyway, they had a younger sister, and she started kindergarten, I think, when I was in year 6. And she, I thought, oh, a little kid, that's cute. I'll try to help look out for her, because it can be tough going into primary school, and I'm in year 6, and I'm, Anyway, and then I thought, I got along with her, and then something clicked, and I realized, wait a minute, she thinks there's more going on, and at some point, I think she probably kissed me on the cheek at some stages. I don't know how long this lasted. It might have been a couple weeks, or it might have been like a couple days. I'm not clear. It's so long ago. But, I was trying to keep this distance. And it's funny. It reminds me of dogs. I've looked after dogs at other people's houses, and I'd like play fetch with them and things like that. There was one where I would sit near him and just like sort of, he'd be just near me and then sort of put his paw out, just kind of put it on my shoulder. I think, oh, that's nice. Just sort of being there with you, but I just rub his head. And then, but eventually he might just then sort of try to get up on me and start humping on me. Stop. So it's this thing of like, yes, that's fine. Whoa. You completely misread that situation. It just felt similar with that. Yeah, but luckily this little sister, I think she then set on someone else. And she had like, I think the kid's name was David, someone from around her age, kindergarten or year one. And she had like David, who like glittery letters on her bag. And I just thought, oh my God, I don't envy him. Like, how long is that going to last? But she was like someone that set herself. This is in kindergarten, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I tend to be really oblivious with this stuff because I'm pretty, I don't know, just direct. I just, I joke around with people. I just find some people that are just so inconsistent, and they expect you to somehow read these foreign, like, little hints that intermittently come, and then other days they just completely ignore you, but certain days they do things. It's like somehow you're meant to notice that. But there have been other, women that were older that I got along with really well, and if they were more my age, that I would feel like, I'd, be interested in them, and younger girls that were like, just got along with, had a good connection with, but then, I would feel like, okay, I'm, too old, and then sometimes I would think, how are they, and it's it's an awkward thing. But that's the thing, when you're mature, you try to keep the right distance or the right type of relationship. Like even as a teacher, often you have to feel that, you're not just best friends with the kids. You can be friendly, you can be, and you don't have to like cut everything off, but you just have the right kind of barriers. Like no Facebook stuff. That's just not a good idea at all. In fact, I think it's like kind of illegal, but for both reasons. I don't think you should only do things because, it's illegal. I think you should also have principles, and I think it's a good principle not to have that kind of connection. But anyway, so the whole point with that, like, connections can happen, and that's the thing. Like, what if there's someone that's the love of your life? Because I've felt that kind of thing, someone that I just really connect with, and if they don't feel the same, then that can be awkward or painful. Or if they're younger than you or older, then that could also be like, it's tricky. But that would, like, what if that happens? I mean, is that possible? If an older, it could be a man and a girl, or a woman and a boy. But can they wait? Can they kind of know each other, and then they grow up, and then at the right age get married, and then be in love for a long time? Is that completely immoral, or is that possible? Because he seems to feel like that's the thing. He gets so emotional. And maybe he has issues, this guy, Humbert, and then gives her money, and it's kind of, there's this romantic music, but that's why I think a lot of it's just kind of mocking, like it's just kind of pushing boundaries. And so maybe you could say the movie is a little bit about relationships and stuff, but just pushing the boundaries. And so the point being, even if it specifically is about certain things like a middle-aged man and a young girl and a teenage girl and a woman, that you could interpret it in lots of different ways. There could be other relationships where people are the same age, but some of the same dynamics might occur. So it's interesting that he catches up with Claire Quilty and finally kills him, I guess, because he took the beloved Lolita away from him for so many years. And that happens at the start. And then it's interesting that there's like a tiny, at the very end of the movie, there's a very brief message that, he got caught and went to jail. Something like that, which is the stupidest thing that I feel like it might be the Hays Code or something, that there was a rule, the bad guy has to go to jail at the end, and I guess Humbert is considered immoral. I mean, he killed someone, but also he's obsessed with this teenage girl, and he even seemed kind of happy when his wife, the lady, died. But yeah, it's like Kubrick just found the shortest, quickest way to just tick that box. To just be like, it just seems like such a throwaway, like completely insincere, like it's not committed to at all. Just so, oh yeah, and by the way, he went to jail and all that, whatever, something like that. The end. So yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think it's great. I might give it like a 7 out of 10. Like good movie. Not amazing. I wouldn't rewatch it lots of times. Like I like the black and white photography generally. I don't really understand that kind of cinema, like what makes it good. I don't think Kubrick is as bold in this as he is in other movies. And the music, it's kind of interesting. A lot of his movies seem to have these juxtapositions, these tension, like having like classical music with all these spaceships moving. Clockwork Orange having like classical music as they're like doing violent things, and then this movie having like cha 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 music when bad things have happened, or having like classical romantic music with this middle-aged rather young girl. There's parts where he's like doing her toenails, which I hate that kind of stuff. I get for kids, like for girls, they might like makeup or putting things on and nails. I find it weird that like adult women putting on nail polish and stuff, it seems weird. To me, it seems really immature. Yeah, that kind of closeness. I think even like a father is not going to do toenails for his daughter, or maybe for a young daughter, but like a teenage daughter, it seems, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. Yeah, there was one part where she mentioned a game. Have you played this game? And he was like, and she whispers in his ear. That part was kind of creepy because I think it may be implied that it was something sexual, and then they then do that thing, whatever it is specifically. But anyway, so I think I'll leave it there. It's okay. It's all right. I'm actually curious if you understand it better, if there's some deep meaning that's really brilliant about it. I know it's based on the novel by Vladimir Nabokov, but yeah, it's all right. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.